Good morning and happy Saturday morning. Thank you for choosing Fox 10 News. I'm Chelsea Sayason in for Gianni Navarro. It's now 7 a.m. We know a lot of folks are at the beach. You want to go ahead and check on our weekend weather with Matt Barentine. Matt, we're keeping an eye on the tropics, but also hoping for sunshine this weekend.
We're going to get some sunshine out there for our beach forecast. Talk about that in a few minutes. That's the good news. Bad news, of course, we are tracking a tropical system. We have a hurricane out there. That is Elsa. It is south of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico here at this point, actually due south of the Dominican Republic. It is a minimal tropical storm, winds at 75 miles an hour. Look at the movement. West-northwest at 31 miles per hour. It is just cooking along here for us, and that's actually a good thing when they're moving that quickly, because it means that the forecasting, the path is usually a little bit better. When the storms go slow, things get a little tricky with the forecast. We're pretty sure this thing's going to continue to work its way to the northwest towards Cuba and likely over some part of Florida here as we go into early next week, say Tuesday or Wednesday, making a landfall. And that keeps the worst of this system to the east of us. So we'll be keeping an eye on all that. More details on what we can expect coming up in a few minutes. First off, let's look at the current weather that we have out there. The radar is pretty quiet here this morning over land. Now there's some pretty good storms just offshore, but that's where they are at the moment. Now we'll see some things bubble up again. After all, it is a July day, July the 3rd, and we're going to see some pop-up showers and storms right on through the afternoon. So rain chances are high today that you'll see some storms or even just a little bit of rain, but we know how it goes. You can work your way around these things. If you hear thunder, you go indoors for a little bit, let it pass on by, let it rain itself out, then you can get back to your day. That's the way it's going to be today. That's the way it's going to be tomorrow as well for July the 4th. It always rains on July the 4th. It's just Murphy's Law. So just have to work around it. That's the way it goes here on the Gulf Coast. Here's the rain chance. You can see they go up to that high category in the afternoon, but it doesn't mean it rains on top of you all afternoon long. They'll pop up, they'll rain themselves out, they'll go away. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about Elsa, all that coming up in a few minutes.
Now, this weekend, one of the busiest holidays for travel on the roadway. As we know, it's usually bumper to bumper as visitors try to make their way to Gulf Coast beaches. And while the traffic was there, unlike years past, getting through the port city's dreaded Wallace Tunnel traffic a breeze, partly because of AlDOT's new strategy diverting truckers from going through the tunnel. Now, while there were less complaints about the traffic, there was no freedom from the pain at the pump.
What about these gas prices?
Well, they're a little higher than ours at home.
So that makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
It sure does.
I wish it just go down.
I think it's pointless to complain about something when you still gonna have to come out your pocket and pay it. You know, I mean, it's like saying, hey, I don't like going to work, but you gotta make money.
AAA says the national average for regular is $3.11 per gallon. It adds up to, according to Gas Buddy, the price is 43% higher than this time last year and 2% higher than Memorial Day weekend. Well, Mother Nature is sure to challenge some weekend celebrations. Not expected to slow down travel, though. If you are driving on wet roads, try to keep these safety suggestions in mind. Eliminate distractions. No talking on the phone or texting while driving. And remember not to brake too hard. You might skid. Slow down and give yourself plenty of room between your car and the one in front of you. With July 4th tomorrow, many people around town have already started their Independence Day celebrations, and Sims had theirs last night, and despite kicking off with a rainy start, they had a really big turnout. People were more than excited to be out and about in the city. There were cupcakes, face painting, and live music, just to name a few fun things. Kids ran around, of course, played ball, and had a blast. With COVID-19 canceling last year's celebrations, this year's Independence Day seems to take on a greater meaning.
It is great to be out here because last year we did not get to celebrate independence and freedom. And so now that after a year of being cooped up and lots of restrictions, to finally be out in this beautiful weather and have the freedom in this country and the freedom here to be out here and celebrate, it's an amazing thing.
The celebration last night was a success for the city of Sims, and they hope to continue it in years to come. More cities across our area holding celebrations. If you are celebrating in South Baldwin County, you can catch a show in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, the city of Mobile, Dauphin Island, Fairhope, Summerdale, Daphne, and Pensacola, along with plenty of others also getting ready to light them up. We have a complete list with times on our website, fox10tv.com. Now, despite reports of shortages, we've got plenty of fireworks displays set for you this weekend. Like we said, the pictures never seem to look as good on screen as they do in the sky. So how do you capture those Instagram-worthy images? Phantom Fireworks compiling a list of do's and don'ts. First, they say use a tripod. That eliminates shaky hands, which means no blurry pictures. If you do not have one, stabilize yourself against something. And second, flash off. Use the HDR mode instead for creating a more vivid image. The pros say landscape mode is best. It gives a wider image. Then resist the urge to use the digital zoom. That usually diminishes the quality. But if all else fails, hold down your shutter and take a burst photo. One of them is bound to be good, right? So I've got these suggestions on our website, fox10tv.com, right now with other tips and tricks. Also this morning, we do have some sad news to report out of Walton County. A 55-year-old man from Texas is now dead after being pulled from the water in Miramar Beach. Deputies say it happened yesterday afternoon near the Whale's Tail Beach Bar and Grill. CPR was administered. The victim pronounced dead at a Destin ER. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says a man was shot by his neighbor during an argument. It happened around 6:30 last night on 9th Avenue. That's in Alabama Port. The victim was taken to the hospital, but we are told he is expected to be okay. No charges have been filed. Escambia County, Florida deputies have some questions for a group of guys about the cold-blooded murder of a star quarterback from Pensacola. The sheriff's office posting these pictures and names on Facebook, saying they want to talk to Tizaya McHenry, Melvin Hester III, and Nicholas Wells about the homicide at the intersection of West Fairfield Drive and Hollywood Avenue. Deputies say the 18-year-old former Pine Forest and Kennesaw State quarterback Ladarius Clardy and another man were found shot in a car around 1 a.m. More than 50 shots were fired into that car. Sheriff Chip Simmons says someone in the community knows what happens, and this case cannot go unsolved.
He had a bright athletic history, and he had a bright athletic future, but he was killed to the tune of about over 50 rounds fired into his vehicle. This is not just a statistic. This is a son. This is a friend. This is a teammate. And enough is enough.
Now take another look at these guys. If you know where they are, call the Escambia County, Florida Sheriff's Office right away. A Chickasaw woman is behind bars after a high-speed chase in Creola. Some of it was caught on camera. You've got to watch this.
No, don't go up.
Investigators say Heather Silvers was driving that white truck when a police car spun it out on Highway 43. But as you can see, the chase was not over yet. Police Chief Frank Hammond tells us Silvers took them up and down 43 into Mount Vernon and back, even on 3 wheels at one point, before hitting an officer head-on on Radcliffe Road. Fortunately, everyone is okay. Chief Hammond says Silvers stole the truck from someone's house and took off. She even blew past officers while the truck's owner was in the middle of reporting it to 911. At one point in the chase, the chief says Silvers hit some concrete in the median and blew out a tire but kept going. There was a pistol in the truck too, police say. Silvers was booked into Metro around 7 o'clock last night. A former corrections officer trainee is sentenced to a little over 11 years in federal court. Last January, Terrence Tolbert admitted to having meth, marijuana, cigars, 2 bottles of liquor, and knives, which he planned to smuggle into inmates at the Fountain Correctional Facility in Atmore. Rescue efforts in Surfside, Florida are now in their second week. The death toll continues to climb as crews prepare for a possible hurricane. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more.
Search and rescue teams in Surfside, Florida, recovering more victims Thursday night, including the 7-year-old daughter of a Miami firefighter. Miami-Dade's mayor says the bodies were found after work stopped for 15 hours because of safety concerns.
Last night was uniquely different. It was truly different and more difficult for our first responders.
Officials say the number of people accounted for has jumped to more than 180. That number increasing after detectives removed duplicate names and some people reported missing were found safe.
So this is very, very good news.
But the humidity and heavy rain continue to make work difficult for first responders. Officials are now monitoring the progress of Hurricane Elsa, which is expected to bring rain and high winds to South Florida Sunday night. Governor Ron DeSantis says contingency plans are in place.
Our Department of Emergency Management is assuming that will happen and making the necessary preparations to be able, obviously, to protect a lot of the equipment.
There are also concerns about the stability of the structure that is still standing. Structural engineers are now making plans to tear down what's left of the building.
That building standing definitely has been a huge obstacle. As a fire chief, that's my top priority, saving lives and protecting our personnel. And that goes hand in hand.
Officials here say it could be weeks before a timeline is set for demolition. In Surfside, Florida, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.